They didn't survive. That isn't metaphor or exaggeration, and it isn't about the villains.
We got him, Scooby!
This video explores what really happened behind Scooby-Doo, and why Scooby is the only one who keeps coming back. The show looks like comfort television, but it repeats strange patterns that don't behave like a comedy. The gang doesn't age, evolve, or remember. Scooby does. And once you see that, Scooby-Doo stops being comforting and starts feeling like a ghost story hiding as a joke. On the surface, Scooby-Doo feels like one of the safest worlds in animation. No permanent harm ever sticks. There is no real danger. Every monster is unmasked, every chase ends in laughter, and every episode resets as if nothing happened, as seen repeatedly in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And Nowhere to Hide.
Get down from here! We jump! What else?
That structure trains the viewer to relax, to trust the formula, and to believe the rules are stable and reassuring. But safety in storytelling is not the same as innocence. Sometimes safety is a disguise. Scooby-Doo does not behave like a world where nothing bad happens. It behaves like a world where something terrible already happened. And the show is determined not to talk about it. Think about how Scooby-Doo actually functions. The gang arrives somewhere unfamiliar, encounters a threat, and chaos escalates until everything suddenly stops, as in, a night of fright is no delight. There is no aftermath, no recovery, and no emotional processing. The story never truly moves forward, it loops. But that is not how adventure stories usually work. It is how memory works. Trauma does not progress in a straight line. It replays itself, distorts details, and repeats the same moments until meaning fades and only structure remains. Scooby-Doo does not move through time the way most stories do. It circles it, returning to the same beats again and again, notably in Jeepers. It's the Creeper. And through all of this, Scooby is the only character who reacts as if the danger is still real. Scooby is afraid all the time, and that fear is framed as comedy through exaggerated reactions, running gags, and slapstick panic. But fear that never escalates or resolves is not cowardice, it is conditioning. Scooby does not grow braver, become numb, or learn that the monsters are fake. He reacts as if the threat is always real, even when the formula tells us it should not be, as in, what the heck's going on? That only makes sense if Scooby is not responding to each individual monster, but to the idea of monsters itself. Fear, when repeated without resolution, stops being a reaction and becomes memory. And Scooby carries a memory the show refuses to explain. Now look at the rest of the gang. Fred represents leadership without consequence. Velma is intelligence without progress. Daphne is present without agency. Shaggy is fear without responsibility. They are not treated as people so much as roles. They appear when the story needs them and disappear when the episode ends. They never grow, because growth would require continuity, and continuity would force the show to explain where they have been. Scooby is the only constant. He never disappears, and that difference is what makes him matter. Scooby-Doo never shows death, but it is obsessed with absence. Empty hallways, abandoned amusement parks, deserted towns, and vacant mansions define its world. From haunted estates to emptied communities like those in the episodes, a night of fright is no delight, and what the heck's going on? Every setting feels hollow before the gang ever arrives. These are not places actively under threat. They are places that have already been left behind. The danger is not entering these spaces. It has already passed through them. Scooby-Doo is less about confronting something new and more about revisiting locations marked by loss. That is why the atmosphere always feels uneasy. And Scooby is the only character who reacts as if that absence means something real, not just a backdrop for jokes. Scooby is not the comic relief. He is the anchor. Across every iteration, timeline, and reboot, the gang changes. Voices shift, personalities adjust, dynamics evolve. Scooby remains Scooby, and that consistency matters. He behaves like someone trying to preserve familiarity in a world that refuses to hold still. His hunger, his fear, and his attachment to Shaggy are not jokes. They are grounding behaviors. He clings to routine because routine is how you survive loss. Scooby is not there to solve mysteries or chase villains. He's there to maintain coherence when everything else keeps slipping away. Shaggy is often framed as Scooby's equal, but emotionally he functions very differently. Shaggy forgets, while Scooby does not.
I'm sad and hungry. Really, really hungry.
Yeah, moping all day sure builds up an appetite. Maybe we should get something to eat, but not be happy about it.
Yeah, not happy.
Shaggy laughs through fear, using humor to deflect it. Scooby freezes inside it, as if the danger never truly passes. Shaggy adapts to threats and moves on, but Scooby reacts as though adaptation is impossible. That difference is subtle, but it is critical. Shaggy represents denial, the ability to let go and forget. Scooby represents remembrance, and remembrance carries far more weight than fear ever could. If Scooby-Doo ever admitted that something irreversible had happened, the entire format would collapse. Children's television depends on reassurance, and reassurance requires repetition. Repetition, in turn, depends on erasure. So the show erases consequences to preserve comfort. But erasure never fully works. It always leaves something behind. That residue is Scooby. He carries the emotional weight the show refuses to name or explain. That is why his fear never truly resolves, why his loyalty never breaks, and why he never leaves. Scooby stays because leaving would require forgetting, and forgetting is the one thing he cannot do. Every Scooby-Doo episode resets, and that can feel kind and reassuring. But resets are not healing. They are containment. Nothing is processed, nothing is integrated, and nothing is allowed to truly conclude. Each ending wipes the slate clean without addressing what came before. Scooby is trapped in an endless loop of almost remembering, almost understanding, and almost resolving what happened. The story keeps him circling the same moments again and again. That is not safety or comfort. It is limbo, carefully disguised as reassurance. Once you see the pattern, everything aligns. The abandoned settings, the static characters, the endless repetition, and Scooby's unresolved fear all point to the same conclusion. Scooby-Doo is not truly a mystery show. It functions like a memory loop. The gang does not return each episode because they are alive and thriving. They return because Scooby cannot let them go. He is not chasing villains or solving crimes. He is replaying the final moments before everything ended, unconsciously hoping that this time the story will resolve differently. A possibility briefly teased, then pulled back from in Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. But it never does, and that repetition is what keeps the world frozen in place. Your brain knows Scooby-Doo is supposed to be harmless, safe, and comforting. But your intuition senses that something is wrong. That discomfort comes from contradiction, comedy without growth, danger without consequence, and togetherness without continuity. The show promises safety while quietly denying emotional resolution. Scooby-Doo feels unsettling because it is emotionally honest inside a format designed to hide uncomfortable truths. Scooby reacts as if the danger matters, as if something was lost. He remembers what the world keeps resetting and forgetting, and that imbalance is what creates the unease you feel beneath the jokes. Scooby-Doo was never really about fear. It was about survival. Scooby survives by holding on to whatever remains. Routines, friendships, and familiar rituals, even after meaning has faded. Those behaviors are not signs of bravery or heroism. They are signs of loss. Scooby is not asking who the monster is or how to defeat it. He is asking something far heavier: why the world keeps pretending nothing was lost, and why everyone else moves on while he is left carrying what remains. So, the next time you watch Scooby-Doo, don't just laugh at Scooby's fear. Watch what he refuses to forget. Watch who never truly comes back. Because Scooby-Doo is not a story about mystery. It's a story about endurance. And Scooby is the only one still carrying the truth. If this breakdown changed how you see Scooby-Doo, hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Subscribe for more deep dives into animation and hidden storytelling. And let me know in the comments. Do you think Scooby understands the truth? Or is he protecting himself from it? I'll see you in the next one.